Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up. I decided to kind of decorate my background with some of these leaves that I got off of Amazon. They smell a little bit disgusting, but I think that they're fun nonetheless, so I'm just gonna power through. Anyway, so the first book that I read in October was actually a graphic novel, and I got it digitally through Dark Horse for review, and it's called Heart in a Box. It's by Kelly Thompson, and it was a really cute story. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It's about a girl who has her heart broken, and then she decides that she doesn't want to have a heart anymore. She doesn't want to be able to feel anything because she's so upset from like the result of this heartbreak. So she meets with this like mysterious man who just kind of appears, and he takes her heart away. And then once she doesn't have any feelings, she realizes that like she made a huge mistake and she wants her heart back. So the graphic novel just follows her as she travels all around in like tons of different locations in the country, just trying to get her heart, like pieces of her heart back. It's been broken up and left in different places. So I thought it was a really inventive and creative story, and I liked the mode of storytelling. I thought the art was really pretty, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is Wicked, which is the 5th book in the Pretty Little Liars series. Sometimes I just read these because I'm like, it's just gonna be so fast. Like, I'm not even convinced that I'm totally like enjoying the series. It was just the next one, and I was like, I'll pick this up. So I did that. I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. The same things about this book bothered me that had bothered me in the previous 4. And one of those major things is that the girls still aren't really like totally friends yet. They definitely don't trust each other, and they do lots of things behind each other's backs, and they all just make like really bad decisions all the time. And I don't know what their parents are doing, but it's like, it's almost like difficult to read because I'm just like, ugh, like can one person make this many bad choices? But yeah, so I only gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read another graphic novel, and that is Hawkeye Volume 4 by Matt Fraction and David Aja and Franco Francavilla, and I guess it's lettered by Chris Eliopoulos. So many names. But anyway, so this is the final volume in Matt Fraction's run on Hawkeye, and I was really enjoying this because they made him into this like much more like hipster kind of character, and he is just like really fun. The last volume really followed like Kate Bishop, who's the other Hawkeye, and then this one was all of the adventures of the Hawkeye that we are familiar with in their time apart. So it was really interesting. As always, the artwork was phenomenal. I love the coloring. I love how they always like stick to one kind of color and just use lots of different shades of that. It's just beautiful, and it's a really good story, and I'm really sad that it's over. But I am excited to check out the newly launched one. They rebooted Hawkeye once again, and now it's being written by Jeff Lemire, who I love. So hopefully that series is just as good as the Matt Fraction series. It's always good to see Pizza Dog too. The next book that I read is one that I really, really loved, and I've been talking about nonstop, so this should be no surprise to you guys, but it is Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. This book was so well written and so beautiful and so haunting, and just everything about it was like gorgeous, and I just was not expecting that because I thought that I was going to be reading like a typical kind of cheesy YA horror story, and it was like so much more than that to me. It was just so good. I've said before too, like it has a very like supernatural type feel, and I don't mean supernatural like supernatural, I mean supernatural like Dean and Sam going and fighting demons. It was really good. It follows this guy named Kaz who moves to this new place in the hopes of catching this elusive ghost that he gets a tip about called Anna. And they call her Anna Dressed in Blood because she wears this white dress that you can always hear like is constantly just dripping blood. And it's just so amazing. Like I really, really love this story. It was so good. I'm so glad that I picked this up. I was just not expecting to love it this much, and I really do. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is one that you may have already watched the video for, but I did a very, very, very in-depth review of it along with my 2 best friends, Cassie and Melissa, and that book is The Dead House by Dawn Kurtagich. This book actually came out very recently, and we decided to choose it as our first book club pick because it's October and it's supposed to be very creepy. So I'm not going to go too much into depth about it here because you can watch that really long video that I posted yesterday and hear all of our thoughts. Basically, it's about a girl that is suffering from DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, and she has two personalities. So during the day, she is a girl named Carly, and then at night, her alter ego, Caitlin, takes over, and Caitlin is a little bit more of a wild child than Carly is. So the entire story is told through diary entries and different logs of interviews that have taken place, and it's also like a description of videos during Carly's time at this boarding school that she went to. She's the worst therapist of all time. It's just like a mystery type thing because basically, so Carly went to this school, there was an incident that happened, and now it's 20 years later, and people seem to be going missing from that place, so they don't know why. But as I said in the other video, like the in-depth review video, you don't get too much closure on this book, so don't go into it expecting to read about and solve this like great mystery because that's not going to happen. It's very open-ended and she's a very unreliable narrator, so if that's something that bothers you too, then you might want to stay away from it. But like the first 2/3 of it is really, really good, and then I didn't like the end, so I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read this month is one that I am also obsessed with, and that is Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 3rd book in the Raven cycle. Don't want to go too much into the plot because I don't want to spoil anything from the first 2 books, but oh my god, it's so good, and it has a lot more action than the first 2 books. The first 2 had a lot of exposition. There was a lot that you had to read to get to kind of like the payoff, but in this book, there is just so much that's happening constantly, so it's not as much of like a slow read as the other 2 were. Oof, I just love Blue and Gansey, and I need them to be together, and I need everything to be okay, and I'm like prepared for devastation in the 4th book because God only knows what Maggie is going to do with these poor characters. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm actually considering possibly rereading the first 3 books before the 4th one comes out in February, just because I love them so much and I want to make sure there isn't anything that I missed from the other ones. Maybe I'll pick up on more, or I don't know. They're so well written. They're just so beautiful. So I gave Blue Lily, Lily Blue 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is one that I totally forgot about, and I wasn't expecting to read it until it came in the mail, and I was like, oh my god, top priority, and that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This book is not necessarily like a spin-off of Fangirl, but it is its own standalone fantasy novel based on the characters that Kath wrote fan fiction about in Fangirl. So it's Simon Snow and Boz, and they are roommates. They go to this this like magical school. There are characters in this book that mirror characters in Harry Potter. So there's the mage that is like Dumbledore, there's the humdrum that is like Voldemort, we have Simon Snow as basically Harry, Boz is our Draco, and then we have Penny, who is kind of a hybrid of Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. So this book was so amazing. Like, I was hoping that I would enjoy it because I enjoyed Fangirl, but I love this book. Like, it is... So when I had read The Magicians by Lev Grossman, everyone was like, oh, it's like Harry Potter for adults. And it wasn't. It was really depressing, and it was not what I was looking for. And I feel like this is Harry Potter for adults. In the beginning, like maybe the first 50 or so pages, you kind of might struggle with it a little bit because this book is written as if us, the reader, have already read 7 books coming before this with story in it. So there's a lot of background, there's a lot of filling the reader in on what happened before, but this is, their school is actually 8 years, so this is their last year of school, and obviously they are very close to being like full-blown adults, and there's a lot more adult situations, and there's much more mature language, just everything that they're dealing with. It is definitely like a more mature type Harry Potter for people, I guess, in my age group that really are just craving more. So this was just amazing. And the fact that it came to life, like as starting as a fan fiction story and then being published as its own book, is like just so heartwarming, and I just love it so much. Like, I'm absolutely going to reread this, and I'm really, really hoping that Rainbow will be able to write more stories with these characters because it was just so good. Like, I would even go back and read the previous stories, like, leading up to this because, like, I just want more of these characters. It was amazing. Obviously, I gave Carry On 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is The Madness Underneath by Maureen Johnson. This is the second book in the Shades of London series, and I did not like it as much as I liked the first book. I thought the ending was not so great, but I don't want to really say what it was about because I don't want to spoil anything from the first book. So I will say that there is a version of this that was given out as an ARC at BEA a few years ago, and luckily my friend Cassie has that. So she took photos of the last like chapter of the book and sent it to me so that I could see what the alternate ending was. And while I do think that it was better before it was changed, I still like didn't think that it was a super great book. So I'm definitely gonna be waiting until the last one comes out in paperback before I pick that up. And I'm not sure how long it's gonna be before I read that one because I just wasn't as into the story this time, sadly. And I gave The Madness Underneath 3 out of 5 stars. And then the last book, I was like kind of struggling whether or not to include this because I'm currently reading Girl of Nightmares by Kendare Blake, and I am like 50% through it, so I've only read half of it. I am loving it so far. Like, I liked Anna Dressed in Blood better up to this point so far, but I'm still like really loving this, and I can't really give it like a rating because I'm obviously not done with it yet. So far, I do really like it. I'm anticipating that it'll be a 4 out of 5 star read for me, unless like the end is somehow screwed up, but I just can't see that happening. So those are all of the books that I read in October. I read a total of 9 books, which seems to be my average. I think like the last like 4 or 5 months I've read 9 books every month, so that's pretty good, and it's nice to know that that is what I'm reading because it's helping me anticipate what I want to read for the next month. Makes like making a TBR much easier. Yeah, so that's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon with my November TBR.